support in our state. And so it's super important that you're here. Thank you for being here. We've got some speakers that we're going to have talk to you before you go off and talk to your legislators. But one more time, I want to hear Family Farms. Family Farms. Who's your farmer? Who's your farmer? Excellent. Well, without further ado, I'm going to introduce Kathleen Bauer, who's going to talk to you a little bit. She's a blogger. Good Stuff Northwest is her blog, and she's going to kick us off here.
Hi, I have a little exercise I want you guys to do. I want you to look around and see who's wearing a green tag on their shirt. And I want you to go over to that person and introduce yourself. You have 1 minute.
They have a farm, so they run their own small farm business.
Okay, guys, now that you've introduced yourselves, I want you to take that into when you talk to your legislators and say, I met a farmer today. Her name was Tricia, and you need to support her farm so she can stay in business. That's what today is all about. It's about appreciating our family farmers and acknowledging how very, very important they are to our food system and to the good, clean food that we eat. So I want you to give a really big cheer and say, thank you, family farmers. Go. Thank you.
So family farms need to stay in business because consumers love that food. And who are the people who rely on consumers for their businesses? Well, it's the people that own our local businesses, right? Our restaurants, our grocers. We are so fortunate today to have Nate and Rochelle Raffin, who have Raffin's Restaurant here in Salem, and they're wonderful people, first and foremost, but they're also wonderful restaurateurs because they source their foods from family farmers so that family farmers can remain in business. And so without further ado, I'm going to introduce Nate Raffin, who's going to talk to you a little bit about his business and why family farms mean business for him.
Thank you, Kendra. Thanks everybody for being here. We all have our own reasons for supporting family farms and for supporting great quality food products. And for a lot of you, I'm sure it has to do with cleanliness in your food supply, environmentalism for some of you. It could have something to do with the freshness of the food, the flavor of the food, and all those things are very important. For my wife and I, we started our restaurant about 4 years ago now. And from the get-go, we were really interested in sourcing foods locally, and in particular, sourcing organic foods. And I'm proud to say, at this point, we're right around 75% of all of our ingredients are either certified organic or from farmers who use organic practices but maybe don't have the certification. And so that's so important for us. And it's a high hill to climb. It's really hard sourcing foods direct from farmers. It's really hard sourcing organic. But the cool thing is that there's a lot of people like us who are really interested in it, and it's on the rise for sure. So for us, the main reason that we source from family farmers is we found out pretty early on that we had a much bigger influence over the products that we could purchase, and we had influence over how the products are grown because we have a relationship with the farmers, and that's really empowering. And for us, what it really comes down to is just the plate of food. If we can put out a plate of food that tastes great and is fresh and represents and reflects all the hard work that we put into it and all the hard work that the farmers have put into it, then we feel like we've succeeded. And that's why we support family farmers, and thank you so much for supporting them too, and thanks for being here.
to our send-off to go meet with legislators, we are so fortunate that we have some students here, right? Raise your hand if you're a student. Good job. So I want to hear, just shout out, I want to hear from the students why you love farmers. Shout out. All right. Do any of our students want to be farmers when you grow up? Come on. We need a next generation of farmers. All right. Okay, one more time. Family farmers. Family farmers. Family farmers. Okay, Ivan is going to talk to you as our policy director at Friends of Family Farmers about the next steps in your day.
All right. Thank you, Kendra. Thank you, Nate, for coming out. Kathleen as well. Everybody for speaking. I want to ask you a question. Who here is a lobbyist? Oh, well, okay, a couple. That was kind of a joke. The reality is, you guys are real people, and it is so important here in Salem at the state capitol for legislators to hear from real people. I happen to be a lobbyist. It's a scarlet L, I get it. You know, but anytime an organization like Friends of Family Farmers is advocating on bills, we've got to register with the state. It's a good thing to have to do that. But the reality is, for the most part, when legislators in this building hear about farm and food policy, they're hearing from lobbyists. And most of them are not working for nonprofit organizations like Friends of Family Farmers. They're working for other interests. Sometimes they're other groups that have a different set of agenda items. Sometimes they're out-of-state companies that have a profit motive in mind. So it's really important that you're here today to talk about why these issues are important to you and to show legislators that they're real people involved in this. And you know, in Oregon, we talk a lot about the need to bridge the urban and rural divide. And frankly, one of the best ways we can do that is through supporting local farmers, supporting local food, growing local food, and selling it into the local markets. These are really important ways to bridge the urban-rural divide. So I'm going to tell you about a couple things. We have a lot of bills that we're working on in the building. You guys are going to meetings here shortly. I encourage you to take the energy from this rally and take it upstairs to the Senate and House to your meetings. We've got extra fact sheets on the table. One thing I'm hoping we can do before we do one last, I'm going to have Kendra come back up and lead one last round of chants. I'm not very good at it. But we want to do a big group photo on the Capitol steps. I will tell you this. We actually were going to bring a big tractor down here today, but the trailer wasn't big enough. And it just so happened that across the road is Rural Oregon Day, and they've got a bunch of huge tractors. That's pretty cool. So thank you for PAPE for however they pronounce that, for bringing the tractors for us. But we are going to have a big photo up here, and so I wanted to rally people up before we do that. And just before you head off to your meetings, let's go on the Capitol steps. But let's do one last round of chants. Family farms. Mean business. Family farms. Mean business. Who is your? Farmer. Who is your? Farmer. Who is your? Farmer. All right, thank you everybody for coming out today. This is a really big deal. Come on.